Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing a furniture makeover with a new sprayer to me. It's airless, cordless. It's very cool, but there was a lot of learning I had to do along the way, and I'm not gonna leave any of it out. So if you wanna see this dresser makeover, just keep watching. Here she is, my last piece of 2021. This is a huge dresser, so heavy, a really unique style. It's kind of a mission style. I got this for free from a friend that I work out with. So yay, I love free furniture because I can do things that I normally wouldn't do. Today's video is sponsored by Dixie Belle Paint Company, and you know what that means. There's a $100 gift card giveaway to their website, so check the description box for details. Today, I'm finally pulling out a new sprayer and I'm gonna give it a whirl. Graco sent me this TC Pro cordless sprayer back in July, but I've just been so intimidated by it. This piece is so big, and the way that the drawers are really inset, I thought this would be a great piece to try this sprayer out, so I'm braving it today. Like I mentioned, it's cordless, so it comes with 2 DeWalt batteries, which I think is really interesting, and it's airless, so it's very different than the other sprayers that you see me use on my channel. Okay, so I want to replace this hardware, and this would be fine if I spray painted it or something. I just want gold with this dark color that I'm doing, and I want to do this flip as fast as possible, last flip of the year. So I just got these gold pulls out, and even though they're a little bit higher up and they're not centered on the drawers, I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna look good. So I'm gonna take all this hardware off, clean with white lightning, and do a little scuff sanding. I rinsed everything with some clean water, filled some dings with some wood epoxy, and then I'm wheeling my piece out of the way so I can set up my spray tent. This piece is a little bit too big for my spray tent, but we're gonna make it work. When I was cleaning, this piece was not a bleeder, so I'm just gonna give it a scuff sand to help my paint stick a little bit better. Cold today, so I have the garage door down. She is scuff sanded, and now I'm gonna wipe all that dust back. And then I used my Dixie Belle Boss in Clear just to spot prime some of the areas where I made repairs and the finish came off. And the last thing I'm gonna do is tape up my hinges to protect them. So you have to flush out this sprayer the very first time you use it. So I'm just following the directions and using some water to flush it out. And now I'm going to add my paint to my container for the sprayer. I always strain my paint so you don't get any bits or gunks stuck in your gun that's going to clog it up. The color I'm using today is Stormy Seas, and it's so beautiful. It's like a deep gray, but it has green and blue undertones. So it's really, really pretty. I'm adding just a little bit of water because I have sprayed this paint before, and I'm really comfortable with a certain consistency when I'm spraying it. You don't technically have to add water. This sprayer will work without it, so just play around with it and see what works best for you. So now that my paint's ready, I'm going to add the cap on and attach this to my sprayer. This sprayer has a lot of steps that you have to do before you spray. So I'm gonna prime the pump. So I'm gonna put it in this down position, and I'm gonna squeeze all the air out. So when I see material coming up in this vacuum valve seal, I'm gonna shut it. And then I'm going to aim it in like a waste basket. I'm just using this box. Nothing comes out. You're just priming the pump. You turn the spray tip backwards and you prime it for about 10 seconds. Then you turn it to the spray setting. You turn the tip forward, and then you get out any air again that may have gotten into your bag. If you have any air in your bag, your sprayer will not spray, which I learned when I went to go do my test sprays on my cardboard. So I just went back and repeated that whole process, and then I got it to spray the next time. I know what you're thinking, Christina, I'm like completely lost on what you just did. Well, I had the manual sitting right next to me. They also have a really helpful YouTube playlist that I'll link that below that I watched probably a million times before I tackled the sprayer. So there are a lot of things that you have to remember, and I was constantly checking that manual. So that is just something to keep in mind if you're interested in trying this sprayer. You do have to move pretty quickly with this gun. It shoots out a lot of paint, but I do like the finish it creates. It is a lot finer, and I like the fact that it's airless because it's not kicking up dust onto the piece. but it has a weird noise. Why don't you listen to it? So I think it's a little quieter than having a turbine, but you know, it still makes noise, just so you know. So the first pass was not that bad. I have this on the very lowest setting you can have on 1. It goes from 1 to 10, and I had it on 1, and it's still putting out a lot of paint. I definitely had to move faster and pull back a little bit from my piece compared to what I'm used to, but the first coat went on really well. It was fun. Another thing I noticed is that there is a lot more overspray than I'm used to. You use a lot more paint with a sprayer anyways, but this just seems like a lot of wasted paint, so that's kind of hard to swallow. And if you thought the priming and all that was complicated, it's a little complicated to clean it too. You have to clean the primer, then you have to flip it upside down and clean it in spray mode and unspray mode. So you have to turn the tip a bunch of different ways and turn that spray prime button a bunch of different ways. But again, as you can see, I have my phone out here and I'm following the YouTube videos that they have. And you still have to take the nozzle off and clean the tip and get, you know, any little bits of paint that you see off too. I let this dry overnight, and then I pulled out all my drawers and I taped them off a bit because I wanted to pull the drawer out a little bit so that I could get the top and sides that the sprayer didn't get. It honestly really didn't need a second coat, but I wanted to get in these slats more and a couple of spots on the side that when it was flipped on its back that I didn't get. But here's where things go pretty bad and wrong. So I did flip the dresser up the right way so I could get these additional spots. I thought I did everything the same way, but then this happened. Oh, we have serious sagging. Boo, Christina! The sagging kept getting worse and worse, so I took a wet paintbrush and brushed out as much of those drips as I could, and I knew once this dried I would be able to sand it down and try to fix it the best I could. Okay, there's always growing pains when you're working with a new product. This sprayer is definitely different from the one that you've seen me use on my channel before, and I used a lot more paint today, so I think maybe I thinned it out too much, and I think maybe I just overlapped a little bit too much. So, you know, I watched everything, I read everything, but you just have to do it, and sometimes it doesn't go well, but this is what makes you stronger. I wouldn't give up though, you guys. I waited for this to dry. I sanded it down with a really fine sandpaper and then came back in, and this time did one pass only. That is very important. And I pulled back from the piece. I was way too close and definitely sprayed way too much paint. So lesson learned. And then I took a foam brush and just touched up the top and sides of each drawer. Once this dried and my sprayer was all cleaned out, I'm ready to add my gator hide to the sprayer, and I'm just adding a little bit of paint to tint it so that I don't get a haze since this is a darker color. And I'm going to change out my spray tip. This one is a little bit finer, so I think it's going to work better for top coat. It is nice that you can change out these tips, and as these tips wear, you can replace them. So it's going to give you a little bit longer life with your machine, which I would expect because this is an expensive sprayer. You have to go through all the steps of priming just like I did with the paint. So I did all that and then sprayed this on. Because the top coat is so thin, I moved really fast when I was putting this on, and I backed up even further from my piece than they recommend. I just know how thin this stuff is, and I thought that would be the best way for this. And I actually kept the trigger down the whole time because I watched some videos of people using the sprayer, and it seems like that is what they did. So I thought I would try that technique out. So this coat actually turned out great, except for at the top, I did get a little bit of sagging because I did 2 passes, which again was my fault. But another thing I realized when I went to go clean out my gun at the end of spraying both of these top coats is that I had it set at a level 10 instead of a level 1. When you clean the gun, you crank it up to level 10, and I just completely forgot to put it back to that setting. So I don't think this would have happened if I would have had it correctly set on 1, but I just let that dry, buffed out those sags as best as I could. Again, they only happened on the top, and then I did a second coat over the whole piece. Hallelujah, I made it through this project. So while I'm cleaning this up with my top coat, let's go over the pros and cons of the sprayer. Let's start with the pros. This sprays really smooth. This is the smoothest finish I've gotten with a sprayer, so I was really impressed by that. It sprays so fast, you can get a job done really quickly. The 1 coat coverage, this puts on enough paint that I don't think you would have to do a second coat. Maybe you could just do touch-ups. And the fact that it's cordless and you don't have to worry about the cord getting in your paint and messing up your finish is really nice too. Now, in my opinion, there are a lot of cons as well. The price is super high. It's definitely a professional tool. I think it has a complicated setup and cleanup versus other sprayers that I've used, and it uses a lot of paint. I mean, sprayers use a lot of paint, but this one uses a lot of paint, and I just don't think this one is the best for beginners. This is definitely a step-up sprayer for someone who has used an intro-level sprayer before. Okay, we still have to finish this off, so once it is dry, I am adding my new hardware. I got these gold pools off of Amazon. They were really affordable, and I love the way they look with the color. And the last thing I'm going to do is pull the tape off of my hinges and protect the area around it, and then I'm going to grab my gold gilding wax and gild these up to match the hardware. This takes 4 hours to dry, and then after 12 hours you can come back in and buff away any excess. Okay, I'm gonna get this all set up for staging, and I just want to remind you, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I definitely didn't do everything right in this project, but I learned a lot of stuff along the way, and I'm not throwing this sprayer out. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try to perfect it. I love a challenge, and this piece is not perfect, but it's definitely still really pretty, and I'm excited to have it find a new home. So that's my inspirational speech, but let's get to what you're really here for. Here's the before, and here is the after. This is my last furniture makeover of 2021. I will have one more video for you guys next week, and you don't want to miss it because there's going to be a huge giveaway. So thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.